The evacuation sirens wailed across the orbital station Kepler-7 as the docking bay descended into controlled chaos. Species from 17 different worlds pushed toward the transport ships, their belongings clutched tight, their young ones crying in frequencies that ranged from subsonic rumbles to ultrasonic shrieks. Meera Hale stood at the center of it all, frozen. Around her feet, 9 Thoraxian cubs, each no larger than a house cat, covered in downy gray feathers and equipped with needle-sharp talons, had formed a living barrier. Their crystalline eyes reflected the emergency lights in shades of amber and gold. Every single one had their talons locked into some part of Meera's belongings: her duffel bag, her jacket, the strap of her medkit. The smallest one, Ravi, had all 4 of his tiny talons sunk deep into the fabric of her shoulder bag, his beak pressed against the canvas as if he could somehow disappear into it. "Ms. Hale, we don't have time for this." Commander Velkthor's translator crackled with impatience. The Kralix officer's 4 arms gestured sharply toward the transport. "The stellar flare will hit this sector in 23 minutes. You need to board now." "I can't," Meera said quietly, looking down at the cubs. "They won't let go." "Then leave them. Their clutch mother will retrieve them." "Their clutch mother is dead." Meera's voice cracked on the last word. "She died in the reactor breach yesterday. I'm all they have left." Velkthor's mandibles clicked in frustration. "You are not Thoraxian. You cannot imprint bond. This is instinct gone wrong. They are confused, traumatized. Separation is the only—" "No!" Meera knelt down, her hand hovering over Ravi's tiny head. He chirped, a sound like breaking glass, and pressed closer to her bag. "I'm not leaving them." The commander's bioluminescent patches flared red. "The evacuation protocol is clear. Humans board Transport 7. Thoraxians board Transport 3. You cannot take them with you." "Why not?" "Because Transport 7 is heading to Refuge Station Alpha, a human colony world. Transport 3 is heading to Therax Prime, their home world. You would be separating them from their entire species." Meera looked up at him, her jaw set. "They're orphans. They don't care about protocol. They care about who stayed with them while their mother was dying, who sang to them when the station shook, who made sure they ate even when the food synthesizers were failing." Another officer approached, a Venthari with skin like polished obsidian. "Commander, we have a problem. The Thoraxian adults refuse to board until the cubs are accounted for." Velkthor's patches flashed through an entire spectrum of irritated colors. "Of course they do. Thoraxians and their flock bonds." He turned back to Meera. "Can you at least try to release them? Perhaps if you—" "I already tried." Meera's voice was hollow. "For 2 hours I tried. They won't budge." She'd tried everything: coaxing, bribing with food, gently prying at their talons. The cubs had only gripped harder, their chirps rising to distressed shrieks whenever she pulled away. Ravi especially had locked on like his life depended on it, and maybe Meera thought it did. Maybe they all thought their lives depended on staying close to the one person who'd been there in the dark. 15 minutes, someone shouted across the bay. Velkthor made a sound like grinding metal. "This is impossible. You're a xenobiologist, Ms. Hale. Surely you understand the complications of—" "I understand that I held these cubs while they watched their mother die." Meera's voice was steel now. "I understand that I promised her I wouldn't let them be alone. And I understand that humans don't break promises to the dying." The commander stared at her for a long moment. Around them, the evacuation continued, people streaming past in waves. The Thoraxian adults had gathered near Transport 3, their adult plumage rippling with agitation, their heads turning in unison toward Meera and the cubs. Finally, Velkthor's translator emitted what might have been a sigh. "You will doom yourself to exile among humans. No Thoraxian transport will accept a human passenger. You will be separated from your research, your colleagues. I'll be with them." Meera looked down at Ravi, at the way his small body trembled against her bag. "That's enough." Another officer ran up, breathless. "Commander, the Thoraxian elders want to speak with the human." "Of course they do," Velkthor muttered. 3 Thoraxian adults approached, their wings held high in a posture Meera recognized as deep respect. The eldest spoke, her translator rendering her fluting voice into precise standard. You are the warm blood who sang the death songs for Cathra. I... Yes. Meera swallowed hard. I tried to help her. I'm sorry I couldn't. You gave her the honor of witness. You gave her young ones the warmth of presence. The elder's crest feathers lifted. This is the highest gift. We have voted, human called Meera. If the cubs have chosen you, we do not separate the flock bond. You will come to Therax Prime. You and the young ones, together. Meera blinked. But the protocols serve the living, not the other way around. The elder tilted her head in what might have been amusement. Besides, we have never had a human nest keeper. It will be interesting. 5 minutes. The warning echoed through the bay. Velkthor threw all four arms up in defeat. Fine, fine. Someone reroute one human xenobiologist to Transport 3, and may the celestial currents have mercy on all of us. As Meera hurried toward Transport 3, the cubs maintaining their death grip on her belongings, she felt Ravi's tiny body relax just slightly. His chirp changed frequency, from distress to something almost like contentment. She thought about her apartment on Refuge Alpha that she'd never see, her colleagues, her comfortable planned life. Then she looked down at 9 pairs of crystalline eyes, all fixed on her with absolute trust. Okay, little ones, she whispered, let's go home. As the transport doors sealed behind them, the last thing the other evacuees saw was a human woman surrounded by Theraxian cubs, heading toward a world where she'd be the only member of her species. She was smiling, because sometimes humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their adaptability or their ingenuity or their stubbornness, though they had all of those in abundance. Sometimes it was simply in their refusal to leave anyone behind, even when everyone else said it was impossible. Especially then,